Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the post-show live chat for the Bachelorette finale part 1. How's everyone doing tonight? It's me, Bachelor Fan Take, here to talk about what Jesse said was going to be one of the most dramatic finales in Bachelor history, and was it? Not really. Not really. But before we get into the chat, of course, always got to go over the rules for this evening. Number 1, please, no posting any spoilers. I mean, I know we're kind of right at the end here, but no posting spoilers for the ending, if there is anything, Bachelor in Paradise, anything like that. Let's keep it spoiler-free. Of course, sleuthing, always welcome. We'll see if we'll get to some live sleuthing tonight. Not sure. They've been bad about releasing the previews, and we're late. Number 2, I'll try to respond to as many comments as I can. Super chats will get priority. And last but not least, be kind to each other, everybody. Other than that, it's the Wild West out here. But already some super chats I'm seeing. Beatriz Hernandez, good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Rachel's facial expression made me think she was doing her best not to cry. I feel really bad for her. I hope everything goes well for her. But Gabby was, I don't know what she was thinking, but she was not very happy during all of it, during the Zach segment, during the Avon segment, and then like right at the end there, she just looked gutted when Jesse was talking about the finale. Like this is live. She could not hide her expression, and so I definitely think this is going to end poorly. We got a little look at the preview for next week at the end there, sort of at the end of the episode. A little more info on this safe house visit that we saw in the preview from last week. Definitely now confirming that this is going to be after the show and going to be with Tino. I mean, we knew that, but for those of you who might not know, the safe house visit thing is something that they do with this in this franchise for after the show when it's done filming, but before the season airs, so as to give the couples a chance to date together, visit, continue the spark, continue the relationship, because it's many months sometimes in between when the filming ends and when the season ends. So it's not just the filming of the show, but also the months of episodes before you can officially be public. And so they have these like safe house visits, and I think we're going to be seeing one sort of like what we saw with Hannah Brown from her season with Jed, where they had the safe house visit breakup. And I do think it's going to be an engagement breakup as well. I think Tino's going to propose. I think, Rachel's made it abundantly clear that this is what she wants. Tino's the guy. I think regardless of, her saying stuff like, I could have seen Avon in the end as well. I don't think it was ever going to be Avon. And we'll talk more about that whole conversation, everything with Avon, the big blow up. Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing an engagement break-off here, and Rachel doesn't seem too happy about it all. So, there you go. And Maria Hernandez, good to see you as well. Thank you for the super chat. I didn't like Rachel when she was talking with Avon. Seemed like she tried to put the blame on him for the relationship going downhill. Her saying, "Why are you yelling at me? Nope, Avon deserves better." Yeah, I definitely agree. Avon was not yelling at her at that point. I think he was speaking very, he was a little caught off guard by everything, and he was speaking with emotion, but definitely not yelling. I think that's a pretty normal kind of tone to have in a sort of fight or whatever it is you want to call it. Definitely not yelling. So this whole Rachel Avon situation where Rachel found out through her friends that Avon wasn't ready for an engagement, but he said he was ready for an engagement. Well, I mean, obviously there was some sort of miscommunication here. I think maybe Avon was originally saying he was ready in his life to be engaged, but she thought he was ready to get down on one knee in the next week. He wanted a little more time to be sure, something like that. Definitely, I think if Rachel wanted to make things work with Avon in that moment, she would have. Because he was saying to her, in both the times that they sat down together, I see a life with you. I want to leave here with you. I want to make this work. I want to be with you. However, she was caught up in the engagement mishap. And I think that's sort of all she saw. And at the end of the day, Tina was the guy anyways. So I think she got caught up in that, got caught up being embarrassed maybe in front of her family. And that's what was hurting her as well. And that was it. It was done. It was done right then and there. If she really, really, really did see, being with Avon at the end, as she claimed, that conversation would have gone differently. I just, it was never going to be Avon. So I think no matter what Avon said, I think he made his point pretty clearly. She was just caught up in the engagement mishap from the date. So ultimately looks like there's no good outcome for Rachel in any of this, but I definitely don't think Avon did anything particularly wrong. And Benton, thank you so much for the super chat. What happened tonight? Couldn't watch it, was late. It was an extended episode. It went overtime, like 20 minutes overtime or something like that. Essentially, we saw Zach here, his roast ceremony where we still don't entirely know what the heck happened in that fantasy suite conversation. They left it at, they were both kind of awkward, and she didn't really, mean it as harshly when she said he wasn't ready for an engagement, and they were very amicable afterwards, and kind of moved on from it. But Zach went home at the rose ceremony, followed by the meet the family days. It always happens at the final two, where the lead's family meets the last two contestants, or in Gabby's case, just the one. Avon's blew up when Rachel's friends, sister and friend, decided to ask some tough questions to Avon, and he said he wasn't 100% sure about an engagement at this time, or something like that, and Rachel thought he did. That all blew up, and then there was Tino's date where he was like, "Sure, I'll get engaged." Went really easy, and Gabby's date with Eric went fine, until the very end of the episode, where there was more talk of just dating with Eric, and now Gabby's upset. Everyone wants a proposal. No one's sure if anyone's going to propose. I think Eric's going to propose. We know we get down to these two final rose ceremonies. That was the really the really lame recap for you. There'll be a much better recap tomorrow. But we know we get down to these final two. I think at this point, Gabby she looked very happy watching the footage with Eric. So I think, there's going to be an engagement there. Rachel, not so much. There's going to be a breakup there. But both are going to go to these final rose ceremonies, get engaged. I think the only one that'll be left is Eric and Gabby. And, then Gabby's going to go off to do Dancing with the Stars. So, yeah, did I miss the "you told me things and went back on what you said" line during the Avon convo? I was wondering that too, based on the preview, if there's potentially some additional. They threw in some of these shots, and I don't know if it's from the same area or not. Potentially like Tino coming into the same space that Rachel's at, maybe there is an additional Tino conversation. I don't think so. I think that was with Avon. I think the earrings match. So maybe they cut it out, maybe not. Ultimately, I think we're gonna see Tino getting engaged. And Maria Hernandez, thank you again for the super chat. Jesse Palmer's casting calls all this season. Yeah, Jesse Palmer with the what was the first one from the season? We know your boyfriend's a loser. Dump him. Join the Bachelor. Yeah, apparently they did tons and tons of them. But ultimately, yeah, I don't think this was a very good week for Rachel. I do understand when I understand both sides. At the end of the day, it's yeah, if you want an engagement at the end of a short period of time, if you're going on the show, you want an engagement, you expect this. I mean, you're on the right show. This is the right show to be on, to be the Bachelorette and get engaged after a few weeks. And I understand expecting that the men are also very much wanting an engagement. That you're at this point, you say you're falling in love, that you want an engagement. This is what your expectation is, and you thought that's what they signed up for. That if you're here, you're falling in love, and you're on this show, that's what you want. But I also understand the speed, the absurdity of it all, and the points that men like Avon are making as well. So it's kind of weird. But any guesses on the Tino drama next week? Couldn't tell you the specifics, but I'm thinking that something went down in between the end of the show and whenever this extra moment here was filmed. Something went down. I don't know. Tino brought his journal or something. But some broken promise or whatever. I don't know. And we can't know the details of it yet, but I think it has to do with after the show engagement. Something changes everything. So who knows? Maybe Tino had a girlfriend the whole time. He's just like Jed. So yeah, and so others are saying it's a fair point that being ready for an engagement, wanting an engagement, is it's a very valid point to say that should be a prerequisite for the show. If you are the casting director of the Bachelorette, you make sure that this is what they want. It's a unique situation, but you can find men who are there. And so you get the end result that the show wants, an engagement. Of course it is a little wild to be getting engaged that fast, especially in this Bachelor bubble. Everything, it's not unlike what Tino's dad said. It's a fantasy bubble, and it's very fast. And what's it going to be like in the real world? He could have said it a little nicer, but it's ridiculous to expect that things are going to go the same as how they were on the show, but in real world. There's so many other questions. However, is it fair for Rachel and Gabby to have an expectation that this is what the other men want as well, if this is what they want? Fair, I think. But, yeah, it's I don't know how to feel. So, do I think that Tino got down on one knee? I think so. Devil's advocate here, maybe casting wants men with no engagement to act as villains, stir drama, and leave the audience hanging till the last episode. Absolutely, they do. At the end of the day, we're talking about casting for good reasons. like getting an engagement at the end where both people are happy and there's a happy ending, and everyone finds love and everyone finds what they want. But really, what production wants is a show, a TV show with drama, ups and downs, stakes. Ideally, they get all of that plus a happy ending, and people are wondering, oh, who are they going to pick? How's it going to go down? And then there's the payoff at the end. But most important is producing a show. So, but I feel like they gotta snag something here. They gotta have at least a little bit of a harkening back to some romance, because everything, all the seasons, everything is ending in breakups or not being together, or eventual breakup, or what. They need a big win somewhere, so you got to start investing a little bit in that. So, speculation on the next Bachelor. I think, based on tonight and the editing, that if it's someone from this season, they are eyeing Zach. They got to pick soon because the filming starts. And didn't Jesse say something along the lines of next week we might find out? But it was a very diplomatic meeting between Rachel and Zach there, which could be an indication that they've both been briefed. It is, I would say, extremely likely at this point that Zach has signed a contract. Now, that doesn't mean that Zach is going to be the Bachelor, because often they will make multiple people sign contracts. That way, if something falls through, or if they decide to switch things up, they can swap over at a moment's notice and pull someone else in to be the Bachelor. So it's very, very likely that Zach has signed something already to be the Bachelor, with ABC getting the final say in the matter. It's also possible that someone from Bachelor in Paradise gets the role. However, I don't know, would they announce that before the season airs? Maybe if they pull back from announcing, it could be someone from Paradise. They have done that before. I know that they don't like to do that. They don't like to pull from other seasons. They like to pull from the recent one. But they will do that, and they have done that in the past. And Irina, thank you so much for the super chat. So you didn't have a message here, but I think you did write something out, so I'm going to find it here. Yes. Hi, Fantake. Thank you for the amazing content you put out. We are so happy that you're doing well and you're healthy. Here's a pro viewer tip. Take a shot every time they say clarity. So fun. Yeah, you're probably having a lot of fun right now. Or every time Gabby says yeah. And whew. But thank you for the super chat. I really, really, really appreciate it. So yeah, Zach. I think Zach could be it. I wonder if we do get I don't know if there's anything really crazy new from the preview. As if they put it up. I don't know if they will. I'll keep an eye out on the side here. Or maybe someone in chat can tell me if someone has posted it. Sometimes people on Instagram post it, and we can maybe do some live. So I don't know if a whole heck of a lot has changed, though. So, not sure about it. You still want Nate? I don't think Nate here. He think he might. There are rumors are he's seeing someone. He's seeing someone here. So, yeah, and yes, we will find out next week. I think that's what Jesse said. Okay, let me see if maybe previews up. I don't think it is. But not a whole lot has changed. I think we also see this Eric stuff. Don't think that's going to be anything. Don't think that's going to be anything at all. Eric, they're going to be happy and fine together. Like the final moments of the episode with Gabby and Rachel told me everything I needed to know. Like, confirmed my suspicions. Gabby is happy. She's getting her Dancing with the Stars thing, and Rachel not so much. And Joss, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on Ben S. from Tasha's season leaving his gym for an opportunity? And I don't know. I get it. I get that, and I think I did see a few people saying something like that. Like, does that mean Ben S. from Tasha's season is going to get the role? Let me see if I can pull this up for people. If you don't remember from Tasha's season of the Bachelorette, here he is, Ben Smith. Yeah, I had seen some. I wondered what people were talking about, because I did see his name come up about him leaving his gym, and that was something interesting, as maybe is that for the Bachelor role? Your guess is as good as mine. I do, yeah, like, thinking of the cast of men from the season, it is tough to pick out a Bachelor, and, you know, if they don't have faith, you know, they've probably gone through all the interview process with Zach and, you know, probably at least a couple other guys. Maybe men have turned down the role too. But with the cast of men from this season, like, you know, Jason's not someone you're going to be picking. Johnny, we know, goes to Bachelor in Paradise. And Eric, likely with Gabby. Tino, I mean, not going to be it. Even if he's single at the end of this, you know, he's not extremely popular in Bachelor Nation. You've got Zach, but maybe that doesn't work out. So yeah, they could pull from previous seasons. Tasha's season, a popular season. So I think possible. But until they name it, I never trust it. All the time we've heard names thrown out. Like, I remember, you know, after Katie's season, every guy's name was thrown out from that season as the next lead. Michael, Andrew S., Greg. Greg was, you know, people were going crazy because for good and bad reasons. Because apparently at one point everyone was sure it was going to be him, but it ended up not being. It ended up being Clayton. So until they name someone, but it's an interesting theory. An opportunity comes up suddenly, and Ben's leaving. It would have to be soon. It would have to be soon that they decide all this, because the filming's got to start. They got to put this thing on in January. So, Greg, please. That'd be wild. So, we'll see. Sometimes it's all, you know, I think with the Clayton stuff, that also, their hand was forced a bit too. A little bit. Because guys decided not to, so that could also be a factor. There were always rumors that people turned it down. Like, there was a rumor that Nate turned it down too. I don't know how true that is. Yes, and I know people are also talking. Yeah, not Eric. I mean, obviously Eric's with Gabby, and people are wondering. Yeah, here, will they address the yearbook? That we'll see. We'll see. Eric. For those of you who don't know, there were yearbook photos of Eric in blackface that came out. Eric on his Instagram apologized for this. It wasn't brought up this week, but I didn't think it would. I feel like that was something that if it comes up, it's going to come up next week on the finale, and he's going to be out there in the hot seat. I would think he's put it out there now, which I think is a good thing. They aren't waiting for that. I feel like with Matt James' season, with all the Rachel stuff, they waited so long. I don't know entirely how these contractual things work with social media. I know that they have some sort of control over what gets posted. On their social media platforms. I know that they that the show can make them delete things, get them to post certain things to promote the show and everything like that. So he came out, and they didn't do that. That's a good thing. With it being public in that way, I would imagine they would address it. How they address it remains to be seen. But he would be coming out next week in the finale for sure. He'll have his hot seat segment, sort of like what Zach did, and he'll be with Gabby. And Vivi, hi fan take. How are you feeling about the season now? I'm ready for it to be over. LOL, love your content as always. I'm ready for Bachelor in Paradise. I have a lot of thoughts about this season. I've been sort of waiting for the review video to really kind of come out with all of it. Definitely, I'm feeling a little fatigued right now, because I feel like so much of the season was promised to be like double the fun. We've got 2 bachelorettes, twice the amount of, it wasn't twice the amount of men, but more men than usual. I think it was actually only a little bit more than what they normally do. But it ended up feeling more like half. We got canceled group dates, shortened dates where they just didn't show a bunch of segments from the dates. Didn't feel like you knew a lot of the men. It was just too much. It would need to be done in a different way if they ever did another double season the whole way. The concept, I think, is interesting, but the execution needed to be a little bit more prepared. They needed to do this with like a much longer break in between, so they could figure out everything, or do like a longer season. Dedicate. I know it's easy to say and harder for them to schedule all in, and it might be longer, might feel longer, but I don't know. It might have been more interesting if they did a way longer season, because they focused one day on Rachel, one day on Gabby or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. I don't know what the solution is, but it definitely needed more in order to feel more fleshed out. And probably if they did that before things even started filming, if they knew they had time and didn't have to rush things would have gone a little smoother. So that's sort of my feelings about the season. In a nutshell, a little bit. But I'll go into more details in the season review. And hey, we haven't finished the season, but I'm skeptical when Jesse says it's going to be the most dramatic ending. But did anyone get engaged? No. So the show is not over. Next week is finale part 2. And that's when the engagements are going to be coming out. So. And next episode's like another 3-hour one too. Oh. Whew, it's going to be a long evening. Long evening. I guess, I don't know. They do the intertwined episode. It'll go in and out of the after the final rose to watching it for like the first 2 hours, and then they'll have a full dedicated AFR segment only. I'm sure with bloopers or something like that that'll fill in the 3-hour time that we really need. And Flaky Gaming, thank you so much for the super chat. These last seasons have been tiresome with production, heavy-handed drama, and useless meddling. This plus Shanae's present makes me dread Paradise. Yeah, I do agree with you there. I'm not entirely looking forward to Shanae. More Shanae stuff. However, there is a draw to Paradise. Paradise is one of my favorites, just because it's less serious. There's this air of class difference or something between that Bachelorette and Bachelor feel versus Paradise. You just look at the intro segments. The show does not take itself seriously, and so I have high hopes for Paradise minus that stuff. And Katie, thank you for the membership, continuing membership for 23 months. That's amazing, and it's good to see you in chat always. 2.5 hours of ads. 0.25 of content and 0.25 of batch. Yeah, twice the amount of ads, half the amount of content. Definitely what I'm feeling as well. That Mentella was ridiculous. Do people think Rachel may get back together with Avon if it doesn't work out with Tino based on the trailer? No, I don't think. I think the ship has sailed with those two. Don't think we're gonna be seeing Rachel with anyone at the end. That's my gut feeling. I know that usually these things they rush together, mash in a happy ending all the time, try to get something like, maybe they'll try to make things work with Tino and Rachel, and they'll say like, okay, we're trying to keep things going. However, with Gabby and Eric, which I think is going to be the happy ending of the season, I think that maybe production's going to be happy with that. Doesn't matter if Rachel is with someone or not. We'll see. But they can end on their happy ending shots. So. And Chloe Wildner, odds on Becca and Ari style 1 hour breakup. Oh man, I hope it's not like that. That was way too long. Probably because Ari would not leave after they had broken up. He just hung around. Maybe Tina will do that too. But it'll definitely be a long segment, I imagine. It looks long. And maybe that's why we've got 3 hours. So odds are pretty good, I'd say. Actually, pretty good. Pretty good. It's going to be messy for sure. And odds are what are the odds that Tino's family is going to be there? I hope so. I would really like Tino's family to be there so that Rachel's family could also be there, and there could they can get the security guard hired again to stand in between them, or maybe they purposefully sit them really close together. That would be that's what I'm looking forward to most. A potential Tino and Tino's dad and Rachel's dad showdown. So, do some last minute checking to see if there's any possibility of a trailer coming up. I'm thinking odds are low. To do some live sleuthing, but ultimately, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing really from my viewpoint. It's just the details are what remain, and it looks messy. Tino's dad posted today that he was glad next week will be the last. Yeah, I hope. I wonder if he goes on Twitter or Instagram and reads any of what people are saying. And Heather H, thank you for the super chat Focus should be on finding love. I feel like that's what we all tune in for, not just getting engaged and then breaking up before the finale airs. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. This show is what it is. There has to be drama. I tune in for the drama as well, and when the drama's good, the show is exciting. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be drama, but the premise is ultimately to find love. And I think the greatest seasons are the ones that have drama in it, but have the payoff at the end. And we've been seeing time and time again that change. Either the show needs to change and the expectations of it need to change, or they need to put more effort into cultivating relationships. Is my opinion. And when there's a good balance, that's a great season. But haven't been seeing a lot of happy endings lately, and even the ones that do, there's a lot of sometimes question marks in the air, and then a few months later there's the breakup. It always seems to be the case. Kind of expecting it now. So. Whew. Kind of just expect it. But who knows? Sometimes adversity in this franchise really helps the couples. I mean, it's only been a few months. Clayton and Susie are still together, but I'm thinking more like Ari and Lauren, for example. There was huge controversy after their season with the switching from Becca to Ari's runner-up Lauren. They've got a family. They've got multiple kids. How about Anna Redmond and Chris Bukowski? Yes, they're a couple as well, for those of you who don't know. Anna Redmond, I believe, from Matt James' season, and Chris Bukowski from every season ever. Most might know him from Bachelor in Paradise, where he got engaged to Katie Moe, and they broke up. Are you having a live show, after show next week? Yes. I'm going to try to. Maybe it might be short with the 3-hour stuff. But, might be short. But we'll definitely have to give a little send-off to the season. And it's possible they have a Paradise preview as well, that we might just be like, send-off, see if we can hopefully look at the preview for Paradise. So yeah. Definitely going to be here next week. But, and before I forget, Doggo Cam is on fire today. Jackson and Bob both present. They've been like this since the start of the episode. so I can't tell if they found it boring or if they're just being dogs. I think both. But Doggo Cam. Both. Moving this couch in here was the best decision for the Doggo Cam, because beforehand Jackson never wanted to be in here. Sometimes Bob would come in. Now they both love to come in for the live chats. But here we'll do one more check for potential previews. Don't think we're going to see anything. Ultimately, as I said before, this is going to be the big talking point of the whole episode. Breakup doesn't look good. I think there was also this thing here. Like, does Gabby show up too? Might be the same date, same sort of outfit. Here. She says something, I don't know if it's spliced together from the last preview. She says something like, kick him in the nuts. About Tino. Watch out. But, yeah, I think this is a breakup. Could be like Jed and Hannah Brown, because I do think we're going to see engagements. And it definitely does not look like Rachel's ends happily. So, alright, let's let's get in some of the last questions here. I hate to end without it being the full hour, but blame Jesse Palmer because we had a late extra episode for some reason. So Hannah's season was great, to be honest. Yeah, Hannah's season was iconic, definitely. That one didn't have a happy ending. It did have the Tyler Cameron thing at the end. So it was sort of like, oh, happy ending. And I think that was kind of that was so exciting. Like, that era was a very high time for the show. And I was thinking back, like, usually in the off seasons, like before this season started, I'll do some videos talking about some of the best, whatevers of the season, top whatevers or something like that. And looking back at Hannah Brown's season, like, there was a lot of interesting stuff that happened. That was a pretty iconic season. Do I think that Rachel can turn it around at all? Yes. Yes. Because I don't doubt the production's ability to salvage stuff for the sake of an ending of a show, though they might not need to, as I said before, this time, because they'll have Gabby as the happy ending, and so it's not as big a deal to try to duct tape something together with Rachel and maybe one of the guys. But hey, if Rachel is not with anybody, I could for sure see them doing a Becca, bringing her for next season of Paradise. I could totally see that. I think, it's possible that there's something, Frankenstein together for the end of the season with Tino. And hey, maybe they figure it out. That's a possibility too. They figure it out. Tino and Rachel, whatever it is that they're going nuts over. But you think Rachel will do more Bachelor? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, I do. Absolutely do. I do. Aaron and James double Bachelor season. For the memes. Okay. For the memes, I'm in. But hey, we're seeing that maybe Aaron's gonna get engaged in Bachelor in Paradise. So it might not be possible. We do know him and Genevieve seem to be a couple, though there's some upsetness from the preview with Aaron, so who knows. Bachelor fan take for Bachelor? Never. Never. I wouldn't be able to do these. I wouldn't be able to run my channel. But the sleuthing would be easy though. So, all right. Is there? I would never join the show. I think there's too much contractually binding you, and wouldn't be. I know a little bit too much about how the show works in the background. I think I'd be too nervous. Too nervous about how it's edited together. Too nervous about the realities of it. It would be a crapshoot. Maybe it'd be good drama though, because of all the crapshoot. But and Beatrice Hernandez, thank you for the sticker and the super chat. Will Wells be back as bartender? I believe so. But I think for me, I'd be too uncomfortable with all the like production of it. So, but I think we are going to end the stream here. There's no additional previews being posted out, unfortunately. Didn't think there would be. They've been real late on this stuff, but I don't think much has changed with the sleuthing. Of course, we'll look at the preview in detail this week for the preview breakdown. Tomorrow, the recap of this is going to be out. Try to tighten up this episode, which was a little long for my liking, but gonna be an interesting next week with the finale, mostly to see why things go so crazy, how things end up, and we'll be here to recap and review it all. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. It's time to get some much needed sleep, get to work tomorrow, and I'll see you all then. So until next time, Bachelor Fan Take out.